Hello and welcome back to my channel. We have to talk about Claudia Conway. I have done my best because she is a child to avoid this conversation. I have supported her from afar, but I've done my best to try and not draw attention to her because she is a 16-year-old child. And people really, as we get into this conversation, need to remember that Claudia Conway is a child. Okay, let's jump right on into it. So the first time I heard about Claudia Conway was when she first started her TikTok account, because I'm on TikTok, she's on TikTok, and you're obviously going to take an interest in Kellyanne Conway's kid. So I looked it up, verified that she was Kellyanne Conway's kid, and I started watching her. Well, about that time, stuff started lighting up on Twitter, and somebody had taken this 16-year-old girl in a swimsuit, blown it up to her and focused in on where you could see parts of her which I'm pretty sure Claudia Conway did not mean to show. I do not think she meant to show the outline of her And they talked about how even though she's a 16-year-old girl, if she wears something like that, this 40-year-old man has permission to sexualize her, a 16-year-old child. That was my first introduction to Claudia Conway. And I immediately became fiercely protective of this child because she is 16 years old. I cannot emphasize that enough. With 40-year-old men zooming in on her, that bothered me and that stuck with me. Then things about her mother started coming out. How her mother mentally and physically abuses her. Her mother allegedly comes off as a narcissistic, controlling abuser who tries to gaslight her own child and make it look like her own child is crazy, when in fact it is her parents that are not protecting the 16-year-old girl and they are abusing her. And Claudia Conway desperately put out these videos so that for anyone who has ever been abused in their life will immediately recognize as abuse. It's her mother yelling at her, belittling her, calling her names, hitting her, things like that. And people immediately jumped on this bandwagon of, well, she's doing it for attention. No, she's a 16-year-old girl who is desperate, and I do mean desperate, to get some help. And she's using the only platform and the only way she knows how to get that help. So what does her mom do in retaliation? Her mom releases a topless photo to her millions of followers of her 16-year-old daughter. And I have tried my best not to see it, but I have been told that it is a simple Google search away. I am trying to respect Claudia Conway's privacy, and I hope that you have the decency to respect a 16-year-old girl's privacy. But if you don't and you want to Google this, I will remind you of one thing. It is child and it is illegal. So if you have that on your phone or you're Googling it, I hope you get all the charges that you deserve because she's a 16-year-old child, which is something you guys seem to be forgetting. Okay, calming down now. So her mom releases this, and a whole crap storm comes their way. And her mother has the nerve to turn it on Claudia and say that she didn't release a photo and it was her boyfriend and not millions of people saw it. Kellyanne, I know you like alternative facts and all, but we can see the freaking photo. We can see it was on your account. We know you did it. And then they try to say, well, maybe she released it by accident. There's no way a mother would release a picture of her daughter like that. Do you have any idea how many steps it takes? You have to pick the picture or the video or whatever it is that you're doing. You then have to, look at it, and then you have to press the little, thing. It's not like it was an accident. I didn't mean. No. You have to go through several steps to post a photo. Her mom did it intentionally. And you listen to the phone call with the cops, and you can hear them gaslighting her and doing nothing. They just call her crazy. It's infuriating. It is absolutely infuriating that a 16-year-old girl whose mother released a photo of her topless when she's already being sexualized. I gave you an example within, I'd say, days of her Twitter or her TikTok account going up of how 40 and 50-year-old men were already doing that. And Kellyanne knows that. If I know that, Kellyanne knows that. And she knows that her target audience is middle-aged men. Trump supporters are middle-aged white men. So she knew what she was doing when she released this humiliating picture of her daughter. And for those of you who are still naysayers, I have one question for you. Why does Kellyanne Conway have a naked photo of her daughter on her phone? Because I don't know about you, but when I was 16, my mom sure as hell didn't have naked photos of me on her phone. So why does she have naked photos of her child just chilling on her phone? Claudia tried to explain it as her mom took it off of her phone, and yet again, why does Kellyanne have her daughter's phone pulling off nude photos and then saving those photos on her phone? If she's doing it to quote unquote get her daughter help, which I've heard people try to say, then why did she have it on her phone? She could have put it literally anywhere else. And even the act of having that on her phone is illegal within itself, but not the point. She could have literally taken that and put that anywhere else because phones are extremely hackable. If I had naked pictures of my child, they definitely wouldn't be on my phone. That's extremely risky. She then goes and she takes a break, and people are very concerned. She came back yesterday, I think, with a draft, and she's saying that she's not allowed to talk about it, but you see her liking comments about how her mom is abusive. You see her liking comments telling people, keep talking about keep talking about Claudia. This is a child who needs help, and instead of helping her, 40-year-old men are sexualizing her, people are making excuses for her mom, and she is being gaslit. We need to do better. The police department, CPS, needs to do better. I get that George Conway and Kellyanne Conway are incredibly powerful, but their power does not trump their daughter's rights to her own body. They don't trump her rights to not being physically and mentally abused by her mother. And if CPS can't see past that, they're failing this child, and we as a country are failing this child. We really, really need to do better about that because, again, she is a child. Her mom released a photo of her knowing damn well that she is already being sexualized by adults. She has one job as her mother, and that is to protect her, and she has failed. All right, guys, I will see y'all later.